Because the Nevada room is the hangout room to me, not the official room.
I'm going to have to bring up the meeting notes on my phone because I'll have to look at it there instead of on a computer.
I'll
take them if you want.
I think you meant the agenda that was already written for what to talk about.
Okay.
The agenda is in the meeting chat. If you guys wish to have a link.
Only a couple of updates this time around, including, of course, the one big update that everybody was talking about a month ago.
Has it really been a month?
People couldn't stop talking about for a while. Yeah, it has been actually.
Yeah.
Huh.
The holidays just kind of cram everything together and like keep people really occupied and busy, so the time seems to go fast.
It does seem like
Yep, hate it.
Over the
Yeah.
weekday con has died down.
I'm sorry.
There's somebody very faintly talking in the background.
That was
I'm not sure
Tuxedo, I think. You were extremely quiet.
Cool.
Oh, is that better?
There we go.
Not really, a little tiny bit, but it's still very quiet.
I was talking louder too. No, it seems like most of the furor over the weekday dates has died down, and people are getting used to, or at least resigned to, the idea.
And you know how it is with
Yeah,
furries.
I'm
there will be a scandal of something. Everybody will freak out about something, and then they'll move on in a week or so.
Yeah, pretty much as I expected. There was lots of knee-jerk reactions at first, and people needed a couple of weeks to get over the shock and start like really genuinely thinking about it instead of just being shocked. And so it seems like more of the discourse I'm seeing now is people either discussing the pros and cons and making their decisions.
Most of the talking this last week that I saw was people talking about the bad.
You're cutting out.
You were saying they were talking about the bad?
I have a feeling what he was probably trying to say was he saw more people talking about the weather concerns than necessarily the midweek concerns.
Yeah,
which are valid concerns. I think the actual odds of there being a weather problem aren't terrible. They're not great, but they're not terrible.
Specifically, the pass.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The pass is going to be at 3.6 watching.
But the odds of a very long closure at that time of year, I think, are low. If they're, as long as it's not actively storming, it should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I rarely see long closures of Donner Pass, even in the dead of winter. Like they're typically no more than a day, and they're frequently only like 3 or 4 hours. So
I think it's more a case of people who aren't accustomed to driving in snow at all freaking out at the possibility of having to drive through snow, and there's not much we can do about that.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, that's the correct reaction. If you've never driven in snow, I would rather you not. Thank you.
Yeah, kind of same here, right? My biggest worry about that isn't the snow itself. I have no experience driving in the snow. I go over that pass every year for FC in January, and I do just fine. But I've lived in Reno for years. I have experience driving in the snow, and I got to learn how to drive in the snow in relatively safe conditions instead of high up on a mountain pass with lots of other traffic around me. I got to go like learn in parking lots and stuff first and get more familiar.
Other options may include Greyhound.
Well,
or flying.
Amtrak.
Like our airport virtually never shuts down here, even when there is closures on Donner Pass. I can't even think of a time really that our airport's ever actually shut down here, even though it's super bumpy getting in and out of Reno like all the time from how windy it is. It's very, very rare that I see it be so bad that the airport actually shuts down.
And because of the days of the week the con is on, you're actually flying against most of the people flying to and from Reno. So the flights should be cheap until the ferries start booking them.
I think that might actually be better availability overall. You're kind of an air aviation or commercial aviation nerd, so I would.
And I think you travel a fair amount.
Yeah. That's
I
your
don't
opinion.
think we can actually know the answer to that question for sure until they start scheduling flights, which will be like probably April-ish before the airlines do that.
3-4 months or so.
Yeah, it used to be like 18 months in advance. Now everyone has gone down to scheduling flights like 8 months in advance or something like that, because they can't figure out how many pilots they're going to have in 2 weeks. How are they going to figure it out 8 months down the road?
Yeah, I see. They probably can't figure out what fuel prices are going to be either.
Plus side, we won't have the Dash 8 anymore.
Most airlines buy their fuel like anywhere between 2 years to 5 years in advance, so they know what that's going to be.
Oh, okay. Well, at least I got that.
And regardless,
Anyway.
only time will tell.
Yeah, I was gonna say the dates are what they are, and I don't think there's anything to really mention about them aside from that they have been announced.
And
in case anybody hasn't seen it, it is Monday, October 30th through Thursday, November 2nd. Yes, that is midweek, and yes, that is the wrong time of the year, but it's where we're at.
Hey, we get Halloween.
yeah, that's true. Halloween will land on, I think it's Tuesday of the con. The day that the day formerly known as Friday. As far as how far through the convention it will feel like Friday. The actual day of the week will be Tuesday. And haven't even started thinking about it yet, but maybe we can work with the GSR to do something fun on Halloween proper.
We can certainly try.
Yeah. The theme doesn't really necessarily this year's theme doesn't necessarily lend itself to Halloween stuff, but
I mean,
it
can be spooky.
Yeah.
I don't think any theme is like strongly lends itself to Halloween unless your theme is Halloween. So or horror.
So I'm curious about something about the midweek dates, and I know that we've never even, I don't think, even entertained the idea of having any kind of events in the theater or the nightclub, because those are always solidly booked on weekends. Are those open to discussion or negotiation now that we're midweek?
It is, but I mean, probably not this year unless there's a very compelling argument for it. But it is something that we're open to in the future if there is a reason to use it, right? Like we would need to have enough draw for a performance or something to justify using the theater, for example.
I'm just having a mental picture of first few games in Lex.
Yeah, and the fact that it's a weekday doesn't get past the constraints of those venues. Like the theater would require us to use union labor for everything, or the nightclub will not entertain fursuiters being in there.
That one they relaxed on a little bit the last I talked to them. So that might actually be that I think the landscape has potentially changed on that particular restriction. But again, to my knowledge, neither of those areas are planned to be used during the duration of our con this year. So they are potentially on the table if they make sense. In my current estimation, I can't think of any instance in which it would make sense to use them.
Yeah, right now
if that changes, yeah, they're not necessarily off the table.
Yeah, right now there are no events that we have in any of our con function space that would be better in those venues. I think that at least in the theater, we don't have anything that's a large enough draw.
Yeah, because that theater is probably still about double the capacity of the main stage that we build.
And even some of our
in-
main stage
in
events, we
State.
don't fill every single seat.
We very often don't. Yeah, especially for the
right,
more performance type ones.
The main stage
Right,
is
and
like
that
in the
theater-
middle of the room. So
Yeah.
Right. And that
You
theater
could
has
push it
tons
back.
of permanent seating that cannot be removed. So getting an open floor for something like a dance is not possible in there.
We'd have
Whereas
to
it is
have,
possible where we currently have it.
we would have people walking across basically the casino to get to the theater too, if that was a thing. So that would be a problem. which-
Yes, that also seems to be a solvable problem. But again, not even going to try to worry about it unless there turns out to be a good reason. And currently there does not appear to be a good reason. So, but yes, noted. We have thought of it. Thank you for bringing it up. It has been considered, and it is being kept in the back pocket in case we need it for some reason.
Okay, yeah, it's just something that happened to. I was just curious about because the landscape has changed with the weekday event.
Right. Yep. Another new thing that we have that I don't think we've announced yet, that they gave us a fixed rate for the RV park this year too, based on which kind of space you're renting. But
Really?
so yeah, we're gonna actually have. They're not reserving anything for us. It's just a group rate, but nothing like there's no spaces being held because we have no idea how many people are actually going to use them. And if we hold them, we're committed to ensuring that they get booked.
They usually sell out that time of year anyway.
What's the rate?
At the end of October, I highly doubt it. I don't think they even sell out in the middle of summer. So I highly doubt they're going to sell out at the end of October.
Yeah. Just as a brief note, just so people know that the minimum seating and the Grand Theater is 2,600.
Yeah.
So
that's all the permanent seats. And then they have more configurable seats at the front few rows that can be changed to either seating or an orchestra pit.
Yeah, I guess technically that includes the pit, but take out a couple hundred maybe. It's a bunch.
Yeah, it's a bunch. Yeah, I think its capacity is nearly 3,000.
If you do standing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's how they get to that figure.
Yeah, they get 2,900 seated plus standing in orchestra pit.
Got it. Somebody was trying to say something. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to ask Tycho, did you want to mention the other types of rooms we have this year as first?
I think we are actually going to have some suites on the block now. Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure we've always had some of everything, but I guess
not
suites have always been done in a weird way. Yeah.
They're a little more normal now. I think they're still not going to be in passkey, but they're at least a fixed rate now instead of like block or whatever prevailing rate currently is at any given time minus a percentage is what they always have been. And now they've contracted some particular number of them at a fixed price instead.
Are we allowed to know these rates yet?
We're not allowed to.
Probably not. I think no.
Yeah. We'll get them up on the website.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think announcing them in this meeting is a good idea. Just considering how it's
the RV
private.
Same for the RV. Like we'll get those up on the website at some point in the future here. But yeah,
it won't be
I don't
super
know
late.
off the top of my head, and
it won't be super late because we don't do that whole hiding tons of information from people that some cons do. It's just that you want to make sure that it's all correct so that we can put it up all at once so that everybody can see it.
Yep, and I think the goal is to try to get just to get hotel booking open fairly early in the cycle this time too, and definitely not like just a month or two before the convention, like a couple of recent conventions have been.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Let's not do that.
Daggers being thrown.
And then staff booking some period of time before general as usual, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody who volunteered last year, just like before. I think Levi, it's a minimum of 8 hours. Is that correct?
For which?
We'll
yeah.
I was gonna say we can also make that clear once.
Yeah. Yes, it's
But-
8. It's 8 hours. So this is the first year that it is the 8-hour requirement for last year. It used to be 4, but it's now 8.
And virtually nobody volunteered only 4 hours anyway in years prior, so almost nobody is affected.
As staff, we have a lot of people who volunteer for 4 hours, but as staff, no. Don't forget the rest of the volunteers.
Oh, yeah, and that minimum is 8 across the board. It doesn't matter if you're a recruit or a staff. It's 8 hours for that hotel benefit.
Correct. Yeah, and I was thinking of recruits and staff, and again, I think there are few who helped out less than 8 hours. So I don't think that's too big of an ask. So yes, they'll get first crack at the hotel, just like always. Dealers as well will get first crack before general attendance does.
Do you think we want to do DJs also? I noticed a few cons move in that direction.
That's a discussion that we should have outside of this.
Yeah. I will have that discussion.
It's a discussion that we're definitely welcome to have, but not in the main public meeting, please.
FC room party.
I was gonna say let's do everything else first.
Yeah, I would agree, because FC room party is going to kind of turn into a brainstorming session, and that always derails the meeting.
Oh, let's do everything else. Yeah. Okay. Volunteer and Dealer's Den applications are opening January 2nd. I expect also to those of you who are leads and I have reached out to for the email, that's still in progress. We ran into some unexpected issues. That has a deadline to be done and be complete by January 2nd, very likely earlier.
Cool.
And when
Thank
we're ready
you for
to switch
spearheading that.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't take all the credit. Glitch has been a tremendous help.
And I pushed buttons like at least once.
Yes, you did.
I did not. I don't think I did a damn thing for that.
I don't think you actually have access to. Yeah.
Which that's good. That's how it should be, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Once it's all done, we're gonna tidy permissions up so that certain programmers don't have aneurysms.
So, Dealer's Den applications I think will be opening. I don't know any details about the Dealer's Den side. I do want to warn everyone. You are welcome to put in an application as soon as it opens. Please understand it will be several months before we start approving them. There have been times where someone will put in an application and in less than a week, hey, what's the status of my application? That's not going to be a thing this year.
You've got a lot of stuff to get fixed up and working under the new system.
So.
But don't worry, it will be before the hotel stuff.
Yes.
And also, I'll kind of add to putting in a volunteer application. For us, we know a lot of you are excited and stuff about that. And we love that. But also, we are a year out. If you guys are you don't know if you're able to come, go ahead and hold off on putting that application in, because we don't want to tell a lead you got 30 people and then half of them back out. So wait until you're kind of a little bit more sure and then put that in and that will kind of help us since it's going to be kind of a longer cycle time in between. It kind of makes our numbers a little bit more knowledgeable.
That's a good point.
Yes, that is a good point. Make sure you know what your plans are first.
Might even be worth modifying the like volunteering page on the website or something to say as much.
I'll go ahead and make
we
that.
love your enthusiasm. We love your enthusiasm, but please hold off on applying until you're fairly certain that you plan to come.
And if something does come up that you have to retract it, give our HR email an email, and it's an easy process to get that taken out. And just let us know, and we'll take care of you.
Yeah, of course. Life happens, right? You can never be 100% sure, but don't apply when you're still only 10% sure.
We may have just for volunteer benefits, they should be remaining all the same this next year. We may be adding something new. We gotta sync with multiple departments on that one.
Briefly, I want to mention that I think that the change with food vouchers this most recent year was quite successful, and it seemed like it was a lot less confusing for people.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, I think
we're going to
that worked out well.
Continue doing that forward. Their value may change, obviously, inflation is a thing, so who knows? But we'll always target making them so that you can get a reasonable meal for whatever your voucher value is.
I really, really love the combo that the GSR did. I absolutely want them to do that again if we can get them to do it.
Presumably we can, yeah.
Yeah, that's stuff that we end up, I think, somewhere in the 30 to 90 day range.
Yep.
Yeah, I did notice this year that a lot more of, when I got the report back, a lot more of the vouchers were used at their full value rather than something a little shy of their full value like they were before. So that means that people were getting, but probably a lot of people were doing that combo thing.
I definitely
This was actually, sorry, go ahead.
I said I definitely was. It was a great idea.
This was actually the first year I used every single one of my vouchers. I'm very proud of that.
Me too, I
Good
think.
for you. I did not. I'm still terrible at using all of mine.
I'm awful at using mine too, but if you have time and internet again, can you send me those reports?
Yeah. I haven't. Do I have them in a digital form? I don't have them in a digital form, I don't think. I think I only have them as paper, and it's like hundreds of pages.
Oh, fun. Okay. Well, maybe I'll plan a trip to come out and visit and look.
Or is that 2021? I take that back. No, that's 2021, not 2022. And actually, Shabano, I may want to take you up on that, because I'd rather at least digitize it and get rid of the paper. Nothing else.
Yeah, I use that for our cave project with stuff. It's actually not that hard to do. I've done like a 200-page thing before. It took me like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I just don't have a scanner that does auto feed. I mean, I guess it would work, but not at home.
I have one that does auto feed, but only crooked. It's very annoying.
That's how wonderful.
If you turn on anti-skew, it gets worse.
Good. That's always how it's supposed to work.
Yeah. All right. So we covered the Google Mail transition that will happen, and honestly, it shouldn't affect most people, right? It's an internal backend thing.
But it has to be done all at once, right? Because the way that DNS or something like that works.
It is not impossible, but it is difficult and a pain in the rear to try and do it piecemeal. So it's just not worth it.
Yep.
If we were a huge company with thousands of email addresses, it would maybe be worth it. But
yeah, and any current email users should still be able to access archives of their old email, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, the only thing that changes is where stuff gets sent.
Right. And I think Levi also told me that you guys are setting up a catch-all so that if there is an email that somebody's using and we just didn't catch it or we didn't realize, those emails will go into the catch-all that we'll monitor for a while.
Yes, and basically, if something happens, there's an important email that doesn't get transferred over or something gets missed, that is where it'll go, which will be monitored, and if necessary, we'll kind of make sure that gets into your hands.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, as long as somebody's monitoring it, that's perfectly fine. We have had problems in the past of emails existing, but nobody's actually looking at them anymore.
Yeah, we definitely want to minimize how many of those exist.
Yeah, for sure. And it won't be perfect the first time, right? None of this is going to be perfect the first time.
No, it'll probably never ever be perfect, right? That's just how it works. Is some people come and go, and things have to change.
Yeah, but it will be better.
Yep.
And that's all I'm looking forward to.
And easier to sign in, and easier to get notifications on your phone.
Good.
So I think that is about it, unless anyone else had any topics, and we can talk about the FC room party.
There's a question from the YouTube chat. I'm wondering when the registration for 2023 will be open.
Registration is downstairs in the Nevada room. Sorry, reflex.
I think the answer to that is soon, trademark.
It's not going to be immediately soon, right? It's not going to be presumably until around the time hotel is ready to go.
A little bit before hotel.
A little bit before that, but which is still something we're getting set up, but not super close to con. Earlier than most cons do it, I think, is kind of the answer for a lot of these questions.
Yeah. Probably within the next couple of months, I think is reasonably safe to say.
We will shout about it
in the high heavens.
We will shout about it on whatever social media platforms have not devolved into fire.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I heard that our social media team is working on setting up a Mastodon instance.
It's already set up.
Us. Cool. Good.
It's definitely going to be one of these things where we'll probably end up having multiple places for a while until the world at large coalesces into something, because there is literally no good replacement at the moment. Mastodon has a lot of problems. The other options have at least as many problems. So it's sort of just like we're going to have multiple places, hopefully.
And there's always a website.
And then there's always Twitter, which is the entire problem.
Right. Well, I mean, we don't know if Twitter will actually exist in the future.
Sorry, I was circling back around to the joke I was making before half everybody was in here.
Okay. I wasn't in here.
Right. Oh, it was instead of causing problems, be the entire problem, and it was a picture of Q and a mariachi band on the on the deck of Enterprise D.
Tycho, have labels been printed yet, or is there still time for that?
Labels?
Labels for what?
It's a question for
what we're signing
the meeting. Maybe for not asking here.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
We're labeling every attendee now.
I mean, we already do. We do already label every attendee.
I'm sticking it to their fursuits.
They're allowed to take it off, but we do label them.
No, not allowed to take off.
This isn't 2015.
Bring it back to barcode collars.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, I think I still have one of the barcode stamps that says loyal citizen. That's intended for stamping on the back of someone's neck. Was its original purpose?
Yeah, I'm gonna need that for science.
Okay.
Do not come near me with that.
Oh, you're gonna need first.
All those.
Okay, so let's talk about the promo party, which is where that little barcode stamp made its appearance.
Yeah, I was going to briefly say, is there is there anything else or any other questions aside from that? Because I'm probably gonna leave at that point, and I figure some people might also.
Really quick, Shavano, this was just mentioned to me. Someone had asked, we are looking, and by looking I mean basically very, very preliminary investigating into the possibility of a staff lounge this coming year. Nothing guaranteed, nothing assured, just research.
With a mariachi band?
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Maybe. I don't know. You're paying for it.
At least set up a recording of a mariachi band in the corner.
It's just a TV.
And be part of the mariachi band.
Very, very likely anything that we do as a staff lounge is going to be fairly small, so there probably won't really be room for a mariachi band, I'm afraid.
It'll be a mariachi person.
It's a furriachi band.
Now, a Mary Otter band, possibly, but not a mariachi band.
They accept tips and belly rubs.
Oh, Tycho. Reminder for mailing address.
Oh, yes. If you have not updated your mailing address in our registration system, please update your mailing address in our registration system. Like now.
Do it.
Please.
That's what I was hinting at earlier.
All right, my address is 2029.
No.
So don't tell us your address in the middle of the meeting, please. Just go into registration and update it.
There was a question in Discord, not worth yelling in the meeting, but are there any movies that we expect to be out October-ish that we could coordinate with the movie theater?
So I would say that movie theater is usually only about 3 or 4 months behind whatever is current releases. So right now it's just too early to tell.
So we'll get Avatar 2.
So I would say your rough estimate would be anything that comes out in like sort of the like May, June, July range of this
Summer
year.
blockbuster stuff.
Your summer blockbusters are probably going to be the movies that you'd normally expect to see at the GSR movie theater. Now, in October. Could we reach out to them and say, hey, can you get your hands on such and such movie that we think people might want to see while they're here? They might be interested in that. They've kind of done that before. The one year that Zootopia was there, it just happened to line up, and it was more or less at around the time they would have picked it up anyway. But they're not necessarily opposed to the idea, but they want to be reasonably assured that they're going to have plenty of people come in and actually watch that movie.
Super Mario?
It's like that where we have to guarantee it, essentially.
I don't know if we have... I don't know if we have any data on how many people actually use the theater while we're there.
Right. Yeah, we have no data at all on that.
So we're not going to be guaranteeing anything. We can suggest.
See, this is why we need to barcode the attendees.
RFID badges? RFID badges.
Please, can we do RFID badges?
Oh my God, please don't start this conversation right now.
Nope.
Yeah, again.
Moving on.
All right, I think that we are safe to move on to the promo party or the room party or whatever you like to call it.
Yes, that's fine. So, anybody who is not interested in talking about the promo party at FC, or you're not going to be at FC and therefore aren't going to be able to help, you are free to go and enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you for coming. And if you are interested, feel free to stick around.
Yeah, and even if you aren't going, you're still welcome to stay around if you want to contribute ideas and so on. But yeah, we free you from your obligations.
I'm interested, but I have to drop because I'm still at work.
Thank you, friends.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you, friends.
Thanks.
I'm free.
I will probably step out in a minute, but just a note, Levi, if it gets small enough, depending on how many people stay, you may want to move to the other room for a more open chat, but that'll depend on how many people are staying around.
Yep.
And also like how Twitter is, or how, sorry, Twitter, wow, how we have Discord configured. I don't know if DJ is still there or not, but DJ, did he already leave?
He's here.
I'm here. I'm here.
You're here? Oh, okay. There is something I may need your help with in the near future.
Copy that. Notify me when you're ready.
Oh no, I'll just tell you right now. I may need you to come over to my place and help me design drinks for the promo party, or more accurately, help me test them.
I'm so down.
Yeah, I figured you wouldn't mind.
I need your help.
To drink this booze.
Well, so we have to allocate Thea or me driving home.
That's not.
It is fair.
That's not fair.
That's fair.
That's not fair.
It's fair.
Just have somebody else drive you home completely, and then neither of you have to worry about it.
That is true. Okay, cool.
Anyway.
Just fly.
Let us know when you're ready, and we'll come by.
Yeah, it'll be one of these upcoming weekends here soon.
Preferably not when I'm in the Philippines.
Okay.
This weekend work for you?
Yeah, potentially.
Sick. We'll be there this weekend.
Well, let me make sure first, but I'll probably yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. There's no harm in it. I don't know if it's gonna be. It's not gonna be useful to anybody later though, because it's gonna become irrelevant in a few weeks. So
Yeah,
there's not really any good reason to hang on to it. So, okay. Yep.